Hello and welcome to the latest vodcast from Marketing Advice for Schools. Thanks to all those who've watched the videos so far. It's great to have over 200 views, and also great to see people signing up to subscribe to this channel. Please do, and you'll get first notification of when new vodcasts arrive. Today we're taking a bit of a different approach to our vodcast. Rather than talking about general marketing principles, we're talking about a specific issue that affects many schools at this time of year, which is about sixth form recruitment. Why? Well, partly because maybe you've got rid of your 11 plus and 3 plus recruitment issues at schools, and now you're focusing on sixth form over the next term for reasons which we'll go into in a second, but also because it's been so popular. The article that was one of the first articles on Marketing Advice for Schools over 3 years ago has been read hundreds and hundreds of times. Could do with a bit of an update, and we thought we'd bring it into a vodcast update. Apologies though if you haven't got a sixth form. Hopefully you'll find it interesting how we're applying the marketing principles to a specific problem, and what we'll do over the next few months is look at other cases. Please email me, Simon at marketingadviceforschools.com, if you've any suggestions of other problems you'd like us to talk about. Right, so why is sixth form recruitment so challenging? Well, probably three reasons. The first is that often schools are not really sure who their target audience is. Students and parents are both involved heavily in the process. In fact, research done in 2012 by the Chartered Institute of Public Relations, their Education Influence Study, which you can find in the library on Marketing Advice for Schools, pretty much came down the middle. 80% of parents said they were involved in the selection of a 16 plus educational establishment, while 89% of students said their parents were involved. So unlike universities where maybe you'd focus more on the student, although parents are important, it's really important to make sure they're both considered. Secondly, A-level and 16 plus in general provision is very wide. There are huge numbers of choices for students. Unlike when they chose secondary school, it isn't just a case of choosing a school that offers the same GCSE choices with a slightly different program around it. You can have vocational or academic 16 plus, you can have traditional, or you could have cutting edge places. You can have schools that make you wear suits and schools that let you dye your hair red. And finally, for schools, the challenge is that really, not many schools have the luxury of having their sixth form sorted until August, because a lot of it comes down to the GCSEs and the GCSE grades that people take, and also, that might affect the level of education that they may want to go on to. So you have to keep in touch with people, you have to keep talking, and you have to make sure that people don't change their mind. So here are a few tips to help. The first one is very standard marketing advice, I suppose, but really to make sure that you're aware of who you're actually targeting. Who are your stakeholders in this? As I said, the CIPR research on our website is a really handy place to start, but you also need to look at previous applications. You need to look at current students and ask them who influences them, as we'll come on to later on. Also think about other influences, social media, and what you say on that is important. Current students, their teachers at school have a high influence on people as well. Secondly, really important to research all your competition. Things are changing. Traditionally, you may have had competition from 2 or 3 other sources. You can see here on the slide we've got new sixth form colleges, or sixth form free schools, I think in this case. We've got career colleges, which is FE colleges trying to change the way they think, the way people think about them. We've got university technology colleges. We've got private schools that used to be all male or all female going mixed. Lots and lots of different choice, and particularly in urban areas, people can travel a long way, and students will do that for an interesting option. Education changes constantly, and 2 areas you need to be really aware of are funding, not just for yourself but also competitor funding, and academic changes. You see, even in the last couple of months there have been changes to ICT, really popular course that may not be offered in future, and also funding of sixth forms has changed radically. When you've done external research, have a look at what your parents and students want, current parents or future parents. 2 tips really. First, to separate them from each other, and also to go in with an open mind. So parents and students, if you put them together, will tend to revert to the mean. They'll tend to say what the other person thinks they want them to say. In my experience, parents tend to be a lot less conservative, and students tend to be more conservative than you would think. But by separating them, you actually get their real views. And secondly, like all focus groups or all research that's done, please, don't treat it as an opportunity to go in and say, this is what we want to do to the school. Ask really open questions. What is it that parents and students really want from you? And then change, your ideas, tweak your ideas, have new ideas to match those. As I said before, the key thing is about focus groups and research is to see what you can change, what you can do. So, for example, I think a big thing that parents are concerned about is higher education, further and careers. Make sure that you can offer that. Some people, students, might be keen on the fact that you offer extracurricular activities like sport, and for example, the changes to A-levels might give you an option to bring back a cricket team in the summer term of the lower 6th. And finally, you might want to change the support you give to people. You might also want to change where your courses are offered, and make sure that people are aware that, for example, you have a virtual learning environment, or that you can flip learning in your classroom, and provide support outside classrooms. When it comes to feeding back the changes, feeding back why you're great, why you're different to other places, please remember to keep the audiences separate. It can be very easy, again, to have an open evening where you take everyone into the same room and give the same messages to parents and students. If you've done your research, well, you'll know that they want different things, and actually it's far better to split them up, maybe to have the students go and taste some lessons or visit learning support places, while you talk to parents about funding or about career prospects and career advice. By all means, you're not giving you're not giving completely opposed messages, but you're giving different emphasis. And the same thing with communicating to people. Some people may prefer social media, some people may prefer typed publications. Don't just send the same thing in the same way to everybody. Number 7, I think parents and students want to see what the product is. They want to see what they will be like, what their children will be like at the end of the sixth form. And it's so important, I think, to get sixth formers involved in that. Take a group of your ambassadors, your prefects, whatever you call them, and train them. It's part of their development as well, that they can stand up in front of people at school, they can stand up in front of parents, and they can talk about the things that they think are great about the school. They can pick on the ideas. If you have a news team and or a student newspaper, which I think would be a great thing to have, can they do that online? Can they do that through blogging? Can they do that through videos? One of the things I think is going to change in the next couple of years is the importance of using your teachers to differentiate you. I think in recent past, people have sort of focused on Ofsted ratings or ISI ratings for private schools and used that as a sort of way of saying, our teachers are really good or outstanding. But I think with skill shortages for teachers on the rise, parents are aware of this, and parents are asking questions about how good your teachers are. So if you have teachers who've taught for many years successfully, who have experience of tricky A-level subjects, maths, physics, for example, being really, really important areas for this, profile them, put them on your website. Don't just say you have a teacher. Talk about the great things that they've done over time, and also how they will help students to apply for university and develop in all sorts of ways as tutors. Number 9, a key thing as well is to just make sure the recruitment process is well explained to both parents and students. Any deadlines for applications are in there, that they're aware of what an interview, for example, is. Some places, colleges may interview in depth, and that may scare people. Making sure that they're aware of exactly what is needed in those processes. And finally, I think, as with all marketing, just make sure that you don't, as with all school marketing, just make sure that you don't ever sort of rest on your laurels. Okay, particularly at A-level, keep talking to parents and students, keep giving them updates on the great things you're doing that meet your key messages, so they don't have second thoughts, and also let them bring concerns to you if they're worried that maybe their child's results aren't going to be so good. Reassure them about what options are available in your school. If a student is worried about money, that's something you could address. And so on. So please, keep this going. There's another separate vodcast about keeping in touch with parents. It applies to students as well. So maybe scroll down and watch that after this vodcast. So finally, thank you very much for listening and watching. And I'm going to wish you a great 2016. And if you have challenges this year, please come along to marketingadviceforschools.com. We have a free monthly newsletter, which is almost 800 school marketers received now. But we've also got other things there that we can help you with, whether it's training, whether it's books, whether it's links to some great consultants who can help you with specific issues. Please keep in touch. Thank you very much.